You know, I always get asked, why do you go into things with such low expectations? Why are you always so cynical about things? It's because that way when it's really good, I'm impressed and my expectations go out the freaking window. So that was definitely the case with I left my A rank party to help my former students reach the dungeon depths. Another fantastic Japanese project where it just straight up tells you what it's about in the name. I adore it. So, hello everyone, and welcome to my review of talking about the season 1 of the I Left My A-Rank Party anime. Wow. So this wasn't a show I was actually going to watch at all. I had no intention of watching it, but I had been seeing it like pop up on my YouTube feed all the time, like clips of it. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm kind of getting interested in this now just because it's kind of popping up on my YouTube feed. And then I would see people like, discussing it and all that type of stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'll put it on like my watch list. And then when I'm finally free of an anime, this will take the slot, right? This will take the watch slot. And that's what it did. I came around to it. And by the first episode, I was like, oh, I found a good one. Yeah, I know, this is great. From the cold open and the intro. As soon as the intro was finished, I was like, I have found it. I have found a great show. So, what is the plot? Well, the plot revolves around our boy Yuke Feldio. Here's the thing. He's pronounced differently in different languages. In Japanese, he's pronounced Yuke, but in English, they say Yuka. So, I don't know. I'm going to go with Yuke, because that's how it's spelt. So, Yuke Feldio is a red mage, and he has left his group party Thunderpike. He's tired of just not being, treated well, right? He's like, you don't pay me as much as I should be paid. They all think he's slacking when he's actually supporting them. So he's like, I'm done with this. I'm leaving the party. And that's a nice, refreshing change, because every time you see a story like this, it's usually the guy is banished from the party. Like, the party kicks him out. You're useless. Get out of here. But this time, he's, like, fed up with them and like, I'm out of here. I'm done. So after he leaves and he goes to the Adventurers Guild, he then, is like, he's like, getting ready to be like a solo adventurer and all that, but he runs into his 3 former students. Now, when I heard this, I'm like, oh, so is this going to be a thing where it's like a middle-aged dude and, he's helping all of these, like, adventurers? And it's like, no, Yuke is 20. And by former students, this is very misleading. It was 6 months in the past when he just trained a couple of people who were wanting to be adventurers. And he just taught them a bit for like 6 months in the past, and that's what they classify as students. And I'm like, okay, I see what we're doing here. Because I was like, this is going to be like a middle-aged man type of thing. But it's like, no, by students, it's just people he taught for like a couple of days, So his former students are Marina, who is a sword mage. We have Silk, who is a dark elf. And we have Rain, who is a priestess / mage. And they ask him to join their party. And he does. And after their first mission, they realize, wow, he's really strong. He wasn't being utilized in his party, and they all decide that they are going to name their party and officially, start adventuring together, and they become the party Clover, like a 4-leaf clover. You get it? And that's where we go. We're off to the races, and we have to deal with stuff like his former party Thunderpike getting jealous of him and his new success. And Thunderpike goes through stuff where it's like, they slowly start to realize that maybe the problem is the fact that Yuke was actually doing stuff and we just didn't realize it. And you get to see the members of Thunderpike be just the biggest of jerks. Especially Simon, the leader, who we'll get to eventually. But we go from it just being like, Clover is climbing the ranks and becoming a better known party. Then they have their feud with Thunderpike. Then Clover becomes such a known party that they start getting sent on missions by other kingdoms requesting for their help, right? And then those missions are uncovering, stuff that's like, this is like historic stuff that, has been lost to time, or it's like legends people thought were fake are actually real, stuff like that. We start meeting gods and portals to other dimensions and stuff like that. And we go bigger and bigger as we go. I loved this so much. I enjoyed this show all the time, the whole time through. I'm so happy it was 24 episodes, and it wasn't just one, like core. It was 2 cores. It just went through 2 cores. I'm so happy it did, and I hope for season 2, because they announced there's a season 2, because the show even ends with them saying to be continued. Please make season 2 also 24 episodes, if you can. There isn't much source materials left. So let's get through the characters. So we have Yuke. He is, honest to God, really good. I really liked his character. He isn't a blank slate. He has feelings. He has emotions. He has trauma that he has to deal with and tries to overcome. He's the type of guy who, he wants all the bad things to happen to him so everyone else is safe, and he'll take, all the hits just as long as people are fine. But then, throughout the show, all the members of Clover are like, no, you can rely on us. You don't have to do everything on your own. I think Yuke is very good. And, we get to see him. I'm so happy that he's, assertive at points, where he's not just, letting everyone... He's not so passive that everyone else has to stand up for him. It's no, Yuke stands up for himself, right? Especially when it came to Thunderpike and Simon. He stood up going, I'm never going back with you, right? I'd rather die than go back with you. And he, yells at them, and he definitely has a cruel fate for Simon when we get to that point. So yeah, I enjoyed Yuke. There's a big revelation about him at the end of the show. He gets I wouldn't say a brand, but he gets a little tattoo that shows up every now and then when he uses magic, which is cool because that kind of becomes his thing. So that's very fun. Then we have, let's go in order of meeting them. So we have Marina, who is the one who invites him in to join Clover. She is, I guess, the typical kind of I don't want to say tomboy, but she's like that. She's always eating. She's super strong, right? Because she's the sword woman of the group. She's always the more spirited, outgoing one. I liked Marina. I definitely like Marina. She's good. Then we have Silk, who is she's the more cooler one, right? She's the more calm, collected one. As such, Yuke made her Clover's co-commander, co-leader, right? Vice leader. So yeah, she's a lot more the stoic, calmer one of them all. And then you have Rain, who is Rain. I think the author very clearly has a favorite when it comes to the girls, because Rain got a lot of time with Yuke. There's even an entire little story arc with Rain about how she loves Yuke and all that type of stuff, right? And none of the other girls have had anything close to, right? There hasn't been anything like this with Silk. We might be doing that with Silk next, given where the show left off. So Silk might be getting her time, but Marina doesn't get anything like this. The other 2 girls don't get anything like this that we will eventually get to. Rain got a lot of time, and her relationship with Yuke is the strongest out of them all. So I think the author very clearly has a favorite. Rain, I like Rain. I think she is best girl at this point because, she's had the most time, right? But Rain is she's kind of soft-spoken, right? She's the more soft-spoken, tiny type. They do the funny thing where the one who looks the youngest, Rain, is actually the oldest. So there's that. But yeah, I like Rain. She's nice and fun, especially it's cute when there's stuff with Yuke. The stuff with her and Yuke is very cute. We have Nene, who is the next member of Clover. So she becomes the 5th member of Clover, where they become a 5-leaf Clover, which, whoa, we're really stretching the bounds here. She is a ninja, stealth girl. She does a lot of their stealth reconnaissance because she's super quick and agile. Yeah, I very much liked Nene. She joins about, I want to say near the end of episode 10, maybe around there. It's like near the end of what would be considered like the first half. Is when Nene joins. Yeah, I think Nene's fun, right? Again, she doesn't get a lot of time to develop, in terms of like Marina and Silk. Silk, maybe we get a bit more of Silk, but I think Marina and Nene were kind of left underdeveloped, when it came to their character and what we could have delved more into them. I think the best thing we can get for Nene is that she wants to spend time with Yuke, which she calls Nene time. So then we have Jamie. Jamie is a former member of Thunderpike, the group that, you know, treated Yuka badly. She, like, you know, the rest of Thunderpike kind of dismissed them, but it's revealed that she did it because she didn't want to stand out and she didn't want to be, you know, having the ire of the other members of Thunderpike. She is like the only member of Thunderpike who actually was somewhat decent to Yuke, and as such, and you can see through Thunderpike's descent that Jamie is not, you know, down with any of this, and she's now taking the brunt of all the abuse because Yuke's gone and the other members of Thunderpike need someone else to blame for all their mistakes and all that type of stuff. And Jamie came in clutch when the big thing with Thunderpike was going down. She came in clutch, and I was very happy when Jamie came out of that alive, and Jamie ends up becoming the 6th member of Clover. We're having 6 leaf clovers. We are pushing the bounds of reality. Jamie, we don't actually get to see do much fighting as a member of Clover in this. And that's mainly due to something that happens to her, because of the whole Thunderpike thing. But I like that, you know, she and Yuke have a past, like that they can call back on, and they remember fond moments of Thunderpike, you know, the good old days before everything went bad. So she and Yuke have that connection. And, you know, we do know a lot more about Jamie. She became an adventurer because her brother was sick, and she needed to pay for his medicine, and Yuke would actually make medicine for her brother. So we have a bit of backstory on Jamie. So Jamie definitely got character development. Right? She got, like, stuff delved into and all that, way more than I think a lot of the other ones. So in terms of, like, character-wise, like, exploring the character, it definitely went Rain first. Then I would say Jamie, then Silk, then Nene and Marina are kind of like down there. I think Nene even a bit more than Marina, because at least Nene, we know why the reason she's even freaking joining Clover in the first place is because where she was in her former town, she got in trouble, and she's trying to turn her life around a bit with being an adventurer. So at least we kind of even know just that, but that's like told to us in her introduction. Like Marina, I don't know much about Marina, which is a shame because I really like Marina. I would honestly say Marina might be my second best girl in the show, and she doesn't get much developed. And then we have Nibiru. I don't want to say too much about Nibiru because she is very important to like plot of the show, but she's very she plays like the little sister of the group, and she's always gets like, she does like the pout when Yuke just refers to her as like a younger sister. She's like, why can't I be a wife, you know, like that's fun. Thunderpike. Okay, let's talk about these bros. Simon from Thunderpike. What an asshole, man. Like, he's the type of guy that you just want to reach through your screen and just sock in the face. Right? And, like, it is fun to see his descent from being so sure of himself and so confident of himself to seeing his demise where he slowly just starts deteriorating and devolving into a absolutely just like madman. You know, like it's fun to see that descent happen, and his fate is well deserved, as is the fate of the other 2 members of Thunderpike, which is Barry and Kamala. Barry is like a warrior, big tough guy. He's just as bad as Simon. He does even bad things too, so screw you, Barry. And Kamala, who was one of the ones I was like, is she gonna turn and like Jamie be good? But no, she stays a bitch. She's the healer priestess, who like when like Yuke is bringing his case of why he's leaving Thunderpike, he yells at Kamala and he's like, "You get more support from me because you're the healer. I have to support you more." And she just kind of turns away and goes, "I don't know what you're talking about." And I'm like, oh, great. But yeah. her fate is okay. So while like the other members of Thunderpike get like, you know, bad fates, right? Definitely Simon, it's a horrible fate. Barry's fate is kind of average. You're like, okay, that's fine. I expected that. Kamala, oh baby, it's not implied in the anime what her fate is. But if you delve in and research it, in the novel and the manga, what her fate is, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, yeah. So that is just a lot of the characters. There's more characters I can go into, but those are the ones I'm going to go into now. Another thing I should mention in this world is that adventurers and their parties are live streamed to people using these things called camerats, which are like living cameras that float around, and it's very cute, right? Like a little cute camera that is alive, and you know they stream and film themselves and present it to the public, and that's how you get popular, is by, you know, having interesting live streams with people watching and being like, whoa, those guys are cool. You know, and that's what Thunderpike used to be. They used to be the top one in this town, and everyone's like, whoa, they're great. And then Clover came around and took their spot. That's fun. I like that, how they kind of mix modern day, like live streaming to YouTuber, streamer, like with the ancient fantasy setting. It's really nice. And I mean, like, this novel series initially started in 2020 before becoming a light novel, which was 2021, and the manga, which is still present. So, I mean, it was created in the era where like streamers and YouTubers were really popular, you know. But I mean, that they've been really popular for years now. But this is like, you know, this is one of like a recent one that was made, you know, in the time of the streamer YouTuber, where it's like, wow, you've actually just went full into it, right? Like, so that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, that is I Left My Area Party. I loved it. I was so happy, and I do have to shout out the intro. Oh my god, this is like one of the best anime intros I've seen. Like, I was like shocked when I saw the intro. I'm like, oh my god. Thank god they don't change the intro the whole run. They change the outro, but they don't change the intro, which I'm so thankful for, because it's fantastic, and I would have been so sad if it was gone. What they instead do is every arc, the intro changes to now fit stuff for the arc, which is, you know, that's great. That's what you should do. Because, oh my god, this intro's fantastic. Go look it up. The final episode where they are about to unleash, like, you know, it's super high stakes, everything going, and they play the intro. It's like, you know, at that moment, you're like, oh, we're intense, baby, right? Yeah, I loved it. I love this intro so much. It's like such a great intro. It's like, whoa, and with, you get good anime intros every now and then, but this one is like a great one where you're like, this is gonna be something I remember. It's fantastic. So there we go. That is the show overall. Dude, I'm giving it a 9. I think I freaking adored the show. Seriously, this is why you kind of go in with like low expectations, because then when the show surpasses your expectations, you're like, whoa, I'm so happy. It made me sad when I finished it, and I'm like, oh, now it's kind of over. Oh, I have to wait. So season 2 is on the way though, so I'm happy. I'm probably going to end up reading the manga, because again, that's what a good anime does. It makes you want to go and read the source material. So I'm probably going to go find a way to read the manga, and I will do that. I believe we are actually ahead of the manga in terms of like adaptation wise. I believe the show's ahead of the manga for the English translation, because there's not been a manga release since July last year. I hope that they pick that up, because they released the first 5 all last year and they just stopped. So I'm hoping to get the butts in gear, and we fix that, you know. We fix that, please, very much. I would like you to fix that. So yeah, anyway, that's gonna do it. I give this a 9 out of 10. I freaking adore it. And yes, the three main girls who start off are very much like Mushoku Tensei. So yes, they are very much like that. I'm gonna tell you that right now because you're gonna see it and think it. Yes, I get the joke. So thank you all so much for listening. I hope you all enjoyed. If you've seen the show, what do you think? If you haven't, please go check it out, and I'll see you guys next time.